WXOS HD1 East St. Louis. 101 ESPN is driven by Auto Centers Nissan, home of the lifetime warranty and 30-day return.
Yes. Jackson, listen to me and listen good. I have never been looking forward to a press conference more than 2 p.m. today. Live from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. Because this moment on September 30th, 2024 could be a defining moment in the history of the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals organization. Your thoughts, 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text line. Leave a mic drop. Jackson, you will play the mic drops today?
Yeah.
Usually you filter everybody but Chairman Steve in Wildwood.
Yeah. Today I'll change my tune.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Well, if the Cardinals are going to be so transparent about everything, I feel I should be as well. Kind of like a good slow clap.
Yeah. Patrick Dempsey, Can't Buy Me Love, 1987. Think about that.
Cardinals and Twins, air conditioning.
Great point. Right on target, too. It was right around the same time. I think that was fall of 87, Can't Buy Me Love in the World Series. And we'll talk more about that coming up. But in the meantime, the Cardinals are spinning their charge against two teams who were completely out of it into, well, it was a 12-game improvement from last year. If that goes on at this press conference, I will be the angriest Hornet in town.
Yeah,
and Hornets have long memories. People forget that about Hornets.
I'm thinking of ways where this press conference goes well, and by well I mean earn some equity with the fans, and I don't see that strategy out there, Peter.
Bottom line, number one, because I wasn't here on Friday, you weren't.
Nope.
Here, and if Jackson takes the day off, I take the day off.
Yeah. Well, we're united front.
Amen. I cannot say enough positive things about Katie Woo's article in The Athletic.
The Friday one.
The Friday one.
Yeah.
Not that there was an article that I don't like. I'm just saying that as far as the journalism, just God bless America. You know, that to me is what it's about. And that was just outstanding. I cannot say enough good things. I had some friends texting me, hey, have you read the article? And I'm like, I can't wait to read the article. And I'm thinking, okay, it's probably going to be built up. And I'm like, oh, my God. It just sums up what so many fans believed was the case, and then what the core issue is for this organization, both on the revenue side and the expense side, and then how they got here. And the fact that this isn't close to turning around. But then, and I thought this was very interesting, and I think maybe I might be the only person in the metropolitan area who finds this part fascinating, but I don't think it's a coincidence. Katie Woo has all these anonymous sources on Friday in her story on The Athletic, and then Derek Gould has John Mozeliak on the record on Sunday night with his report, which was outstanding, on Mozeliak saying he's going to come back as president of baseball operations and Ali Marmol will be back as manager. I don't think that was a coincidence. Why? Because I think Mozeliak was irritated with the report on Friday, and his way to exert revenge was to go to Derek Gould and then give his side on Sunday night. That's what I think. You can say I'm wrong. That's fine. Guess what? I'm not running for office. So I don't really care if you agree with me or not, Jackson.
2028.
2028 is when I'm running.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm going to run for an alderman in the city.
Nice.
I think they're going to increase the number of wards now as opposed to reduce them. So I think it'll give me a good shot. Yeah. 2 o'clock today, Chairman Bill DeWitt Jr., so not Bill DeWitt III, Chairman Bill DeWitt Jr. will be speaking. And I guess defending, keeping everybody, but yet talking about a new direction. And I think we've actually reached a point. It's like the stock market. They're breaking a new record on the uptick. The Cardinals somehow break a new record on the downside.
Yep.
And today might be our low point. I cannot wait I cannot wait for 2 p.m. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. That's when I got the text from the Cardinals media relations yesterday afternoon that the press conference is taking place at 2 p.m. I'm like, I can't wait to listen. Can't wait. I'll be here on 101 ESPN. Can't wait. 2 p.m. And then I read Derek Gould's story, which he posted last night on STL Today, I don't know, around 7:30, saying, with the quotes from Zalak, that both he and Marmol would be coming back. And Bloom is now going to have more responsibility. I'm thinking, how can this organization say this to the fans and think that they have any form of credibility with it?
No.
I am legitimately angry as a hornet over a sports topic, and I didn't think that could happen anymore.
And you seem elated by it.
I guess it makes me feel like I still have a heart.
Yeah.
As the Tin Man said. He didn't say heart. He spoke with an American dialect throughout the film with the exception of the word heart.
Yeah. Well, there's no real Tin Man to cast. No, I think you said it right at the outset there. You're going to talk about this press conference is all going to be about change, about how they're going to change philosophically, how the direction of the franchise is going to start going a different direction. Yet everybody who was in charge for this downturn, I mean, there's no other way to say it, but downturn, is going to be also in charge of turning it around. And I think those two, like the execution, the messaging and the execution do not match. There's no way that everyone can keep their job and then also tell fans and expect them to believe that things are going to turn around philosophically. You can say Chaim Bloom's going to take more of a spot. I think that's a great thing. But like, what does that mean? What does that actually mean? Because if Mozeliak's the one telling you that, how does that make any sense? So you're going to talk about your replacement all day?
I cannot wait to see how they explain it. I will be so locked in.
Right.
I have a meeting from 12 to 2 today, and at 1:59 I will be saying, I gotta go. Yep. I gotta take this all in live. I'll be locked into the fast lane for the reaction right away with Jamie Rivers, whose side I'm on in the war with you. Kerry Davis, Anthony Stalter, and your gentleman lover, Marshy Marsh and the Playful Posse.
He won't be happy. He won't be happy.
No, the Vikings are undefeated, though.
Boy, yeah. Good on them. Good for Marsh, you know.
So now you're back on board.
And they're left.
Amen.
You know, I think I think Chaim Bloom should be talking the most at this press conference. I think if you really want to make the messaging and the execution on the same plane, then Chaim Bloom should be the one telling the fans all of this stuff. If you really want to usher in a new era and say,
so you are a believer that he will not be there.
I don't think he'll be there. I think it'll be Bill DeWitt Jr. I think it'll be John Mozeliak, and I think those are two guys. I mean, Mozeliak we know will not be in his current role after next season. Bill DeWitt Jr. Obviously, there's going to be a transition of power to the third at some point where he takes over as chairman. Why are the two people who have been in charge of this downturn and who won't be around, essentially, not like living, but around within the team for the hopeful turnaround, why are they the one telling you that things are about to turn around? Shouldn't the new people in charge, the Bill DeWitt the thirds?
Well, I would agree with you. I guess I'm not necessarily of the opinion that it's just going to be those two.
Okay, all right,
but
fair enough.
If you believe that or know that, then that's a different thing.
I don't know that. I believe that to be the case.
And you just think that that's the case. Why?
I read on, it was an aggregator that took part of Derek Gould's reporting and Katie was reporting into their own story, and it said that their Cardinals were holding a press conference with Chairman Bill DeWitt Jr. and John Mozeliak. But that source I cannot say is credible. So I'm not saying with certainty that's going to be the only two people there. But if that is the case, I think already you're starting off 0 for 1, swinging a miss.
Yeah, another self-inflicted wound.
Right.
I'm in awe. I really am. I just stepping back and kind of doing this crap for 25 years, and I really mean the literal word crap of being in this quote-unquote profession, and seeing really in particular over, the last decade or so where it's become let me write to get engagement or really write what people I hope will like. And, like the days of Joe Strauss, for example, I feel like are gone, and it's just let me get engagement because it's my only way to continue to put food on the table for the family, and it's just gross, in my opinion. To read that article, I'm just like, oh, God, this has been missed. And it was so good. And then also, I mean, I'm telling you, and I think people know this, but I'll just refresh your memory. If there's one thing that the Cardinals pride themselves in, it's keeping things in the room. And I understand that, and I respect that. So then for you to have people going to, I mean, to me, in St. Louis, and if I'm not trying to take a shot, but I mean, if you're going to either Katie Woo or Derek Gould, you're going to one of the biggest platforms as far as reaching people with the written word and speaking on the condition of anonymity as to what has taken place with the organization and how they have just let the developmental element of the business go to hell while sacrificing to try and continue to do this hedging plan that I keep bitching about on this show and on TMA for the last few years. If we're going to try to stay in it, even though we kind of recognize we're just trying to get in. The thing that fans have been complaining about forever, we're just going to try to get in because I can't imagine there was anybody, even if you're a hardcore Cardinal fan, who looked at that roster and goes, yeah, that's a 90-plus win team at the beginning of the year. And then just try to get it through this goofball NCAA tournament thing that MLB has set up now as its postseason after 162 games. That now, because of that, they are in, well, we got to get rid of all these bad deals that we made trying to hedge and kind of stay in the mix at the sacrifice of our development. And the chickens have come home to roost.
Yep.
Now, as opposed to going, we messed up and the buck stops here. And I'm the chairman of the organization and I've owned this franchise and I'm very proud of what we've done during my term. But recently it's gotten away, and therefore we have to make changes. You're going to roll the same people out there who have played a critical role in its downfall. And for the life of me, I just don't understand that. And I can't imagine fans understand it. That's why it's like I want to rage, but at the same time, it's not fair until I actually hear the words.
Right.
So Derek Gould's report last night with both John Mozeliak and Ali Marmol coming back, really, honestly, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Because earlier in the day, Katie Woo had the story that Paul Goldschmidt wouldn't be coming back. I'm like, man, they are really turning the page. You asked me, one of your questions last week, I think, was, what could the Cardinals do that would get you back on board? I'm like, make a change somewhere at the top, not just like have sacrificial lambs. And I think there's going to be a lot of blood this afternoon, but it sounds like it's not going to be from the people who you would expect.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of people sacrificed to the gods this afternoon, but not the people you would expect. And then you're going to now turn the page. They're talking about Bob Nightingale with the report that Sonny Gray will be. Hey, good. Move on. I get it. Actually have a plan. But I don't understand how the same people that put you in this spot are entitled and allowed to continue to execute the rebuild. I thought that last year, much less now again this year. All the while we're talking about the expense side of the ledger. One of the critical portions of this conversation is the revenue portion of it. The revenue element with the television deal and attendance. How will fans respond to this? I'm all for, if they were being transparent, fans would support a rebuild. I think fans might be refreshed by it. Mm-hmm. But not if you're going to say, but we're going to allow the same people who have played a role in creating this destruction to have the chance to rebuild it. Especially when, as you made reference to, John Mozeliak said, I'm done after 2025 when my deal's up. And Bill DeWitt's in his 80s.
Yeah.
I just, for the life of me, I don't get it. And I don't get how there's not somebody involved that goes, hold on a second, this isn't right. And that's why I sit here and I go, in the back of my mind, perhaps more hopeful than logical, I hope that what I think is going to happen at 2 o'clock today doesn't happen. And something is said or done that would illustrate a recognition that there has to be some accountability for the disaster that this thing has become. Because it's not just about 2 bad years. It's about the organization being in the state that it's in, that a good year is not around the corner.
Yep.
They have created a spot in which they are not on the verge of success. And the same people who played a role in the downfall are allowed to be the ones to build it back up. How? I have no idea. Can't wait for 2 o'clock today. You'll be able to hear it live on 101 ESPN. Your thoughts on the topic, 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text line. The YouTube chat as well. A huge weekend. An hour is not enough today, Jackson. It's just not. but we'll do our best with the hour that we have. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN.
It's that time of year again. It's time for Jamie's Jersey giveaway. And our first one of the year is an absolute beauty. You're getting a signed Jordan Kyrou number 25 Blues jersey. All you have to do to get entered to win that jersey is go to 101ESPN.com or visit the 101 ESPN mobile app. Winner must be 21 plus, and our giveaway is courtesy of Bud Light. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, presenting sponsor of Balloon Party on 101 ESPN and official automotive provider of the Tim McKernan Show podcast and TMA. The place I go to get my cars, serviced as well. Had my wife's car out there late last week, getting new tires on the car, and I would tell anybody to go there and get new cars or pre-owned cars or get their cars serviced there. I think the world of the people I've gotten to know at Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. That ranges from Jamie Burkhardt, his name's on the dealership, Munganess Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Peter Munganess, his name's on both dealerships. And Ryan Seiberg in the service department. Go online at stlouisacura.com or altontoyota.com. And then they've set up a number for our listeners to call or text with any questions or comments they may have. And that number is 314-252-0029. It's Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Online at stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com.
Anniversary deals now at Dobbs. Save on Goodyear tires and service. New sets of 4 Pirelli, General, and Sumitomo tires. Plus brakes, struts, fluid services, and more. Click on GoToDobbs.com and save today.
ESPN is your home for Blues hockey. Check out either the 101 mobile app or 101ESPN.com for your chance to win a signed puck autographed by Blues forward Robert Thomas.
Thomas moves it in, shoots, score!
Get entered to win that Robert Thomas signed puck right now, either at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app.
Welcome back to Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. YouTube's active today, Jackson. Bob Coggs talking to Tiny Peepee and Dr. Do you pronounce it Dr. Grizz or Dr. Gers?
That looks like Dr. Gers. Or Gers. Yeah.
Like that.
There's lack of punctuation there.
I'm a banty little rooster regarding the Cardinals in this press conference at 2 o'clock today, but I've never been more excited for a press conference than this 2 p.m. press conference.
Man, the woman press conference second?
I wet myself during that. I actually did wet myself. I think that's the last time I wet myself. Till 2013. I guess that's probably about right.
Yeah.
Most guys stop wetting themselves in their 30s.
Well, I mean, it really becomes a question of what do you consider wetting yourself? Because I think we've all had a dribble or two, you know, but a full-on session, those are rare.
You can text him when the last time you wet yourself is 314-399-9646, or just have a wonderful discussion in the YouTube chat. Jackson has his Little Piddles weekend wrap-up. What a weekend it was. I can't wait to hear what Jackson has for us today here on Balloon Party, driven by Munganess, St. Louis.
God, sounds like someone's being choked out there. Well, I feel like the natural transition would be into college football, and what a weekend it was for college football. Even with Missouri not playing, it was a weekend where you had to find yourself
Every
a seat.
time slot had something for you. And I'm talking about going back to Friday at 11 o'clock in Oxford, Mississippi.
It was crazy. It was a great day of college football, and capped off with probably will end up being game of the year. It's certainly the game of the year as of now. If there's a
better game, then we're lucky.
Yeah, definitely the best fourth quarter of the year, and I don't think anything will surpass that. What did you make of the college football? What was the biggest story to you for this weekend in college football? What were you most glued into? What surprised you the most?
And my shoulder turn.
Yeah.
That's how I'm able to hit it as far as I am, even though I'm a tiny little boy.
All right. Lock in here with me.
Yeah. I thought you had more on the question.
Well, it was kind of
like where you asked like 7 questions at the end, and I was just letting you get through them. But then I just started doing my shoulder turn while you were doing it.
Well, how did you feel about Illinois' performance at Happy Valley?
All right. I thought it was a very impressive performance.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you're an Illinois fan, what your emotion is about it, because going into the season, you probably weren't necessarily expecting to be undefeated. So were you in the mindset of we're free rolling here?
That's what I theorized last week, is that if you were an Illinois fan, are you going into this week at Happy Valley just totally free rolling, taking whatever you can get?
Because I kind of think, and I'm trying to draw some form of a parallel, even though I think it's apples and oranges, if you're a Missouri fan and you're 7-0 going in Tuscaloosa, you kind of feel like you're free rolling there.
Right.
I think that if Missouri gets blown off the field, it has a much bigger impact than just one loss.
Yep.
But if Missouri were to lose, I can't imagine holding Alabama in that offense and Jalen Milroe to 21 points. But let's say Missouri lost 21-7 to Alabama, and they're 7-1 with Oklahoma, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Arkansas left. I'd be like, oh my God, Missouri's going to the playoff, barring a surprise. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
Illinois didn't go into the year thinking about going to the playoff, and then they beat Kansas, and they win in Lincoln, and now you're playing a top 10 team in a whiteout atmosphere, even though it wasn't, as James Franklin went out of his way to point out, an actual whiteout, and it's 7-7 at the half. I think both teams could have made a case that they should have been up at the half, but either way, Illinois definitely could have made a case they should have been up at the half. Mm-hmm. And they lose 21-7. If you watch the game, you know that really wasn't a 2-touchdown game. Penn State got the score late. And so I sit there and I go, this is a team that really could beat Michigan at Memorial Stadium in 12 days. I really think that.
Yeah.
And of course, part of that is Michigan isn't Michigan of 2023, but also part of that is Illinois is a much better team than I would imagine even Illini fans thought they were going to be. And so to go into Happy Valley at night and hang with that team, and I think that team that a lot of Missouri fans dog because they feel like that might be a team that they could be fighting for the 11th spot with. So they want to see Penn State lose, or Penn State's overrated. It's like the same thing with Notre Dame. But I think Penn State's not necessarily in that category of being overrated. Mm-hmm. So I think from an Illinois fan standpoint, I'd be pretty pleased. Again, I'm looking at it through the lens, though, I wasn't thinking that they would be, undefeated going into Happy Valley. So you're kind of free rolling. If there's a bad loss along the way, then it changes things. But right now, they're going to be underdogs to Michigan. They're going to be underdogs in Oregon. And this Rutgers situation, which I'm sure very few people in this area are talking about, but they're undefeated. And Greg Schiano, their coach, who's in his second stint in Jersey, was high on that team going in. And so far, after beating Washington on Friday night, another thrilling game, it looks like he had reason for it. So that could be a test for Illinois. Point being, I'd come away from it, if I were an Illinois fan, encouraged. At the same time, as Brett Bielema said, that game was there for them, and they got to clean up some of the things that caused them not to be able to capitalize, in particular, what first and goal at the 2 and not getting any points.
Yeah,
that is smart.
Can't happen. Yeah, I think going into the game, much like you just said, like I think you are kind of free rolling just because you're outplaying expectations to a decent amount. But then during the game, I think it'd be tough if you're a real Illini fan, if you bleed blue and orange, to not be like, man, this opportunity is here. And you just talked about Michigan and going to Oregon. If you split those two games, your chance of you going to the playoff increases exponentially. But if you were to win at Happy Valley, then who knows how the situation might play out.
Then you're looking at being a top 10 team after the Michigan game.
Yeah.
You might have been a top 10 team actually after beating Penn State.
Right.
Much less top 5 possibly.
Right.
And then the game against Oregon becomes possibly the Big Ten game of the year. And who would have thought that would be the case?
Yeah, because then you could have a win at Nebraska, a win at Happy Valley, and then possibly a win at Eugene. You'd be the road dog champions. So it's like...
And a little sneaker thing, I brought this up briefly on TMA, but you're under the radar play in the Big Ten. Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
No, BC, ACC, Big Ten, Indiana. And I'm not saying, hey, they're great. I'm just saying they're undefeated and their schedule is beyond favorable, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that situation. That is one that you wouldn't have thought going into the season. Again, I'm not saying that they're a great team. They haven't played anybody really. But schedule-wise, that could be a team. Tommy Signetti leaving James Madison. He had that cocky press conference. Well, so far he has delivered on it. And I think they get Ohio State and Bloomington. There is a chance that Indiana is in the mix. And I know there's a good amount of Indiana alums in the area. They're probably going, is that right? We're actually decent?
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is you're 5-0. 4-0, 5-0.
And beating, I mean, it's not like they're winning by field goals.
They're putting up points.
77.
That's what he did at James Madison, and that's what he's doing so far. 42-28 this past weekend.
And then they've scored 42, 52, 77.
But the headline is certainly Alabama and Georgia. And, oftentimes you have games that have hype that don't live up to it. I think probably 7 out of 10. They don't live up to it. And I went out to dinner on Saturday night. Right before we sat down, it was like 28-0, and I'm going, unbelievable. Yeah. I'm starting to think, man, it might be good, because I'm looking at the lens of a Missouri fan. If somehow Alabama wins 60-0 or something like that.
Right.
And then, I don't know, 10-15, the people we were with, we just didn't pay any attention to it. We were sitting there BSing. And another couple that was there, they were walking out. And I know them, and they were saying goodbye. And they said, man, this game's unbelievable. And I said, what game? And I was thinking he was talking Penn State, Illinois.
Right.
Which I went back and watched yesterday morning, just like I did with Georgia and Alabama yesterday morning. And he goes, no, Georgia's winning now. And I go, Georgia's down. I go, you're sure about this? He goes, no, my buddies are all texting me. They're freaking out, going, this is the greatest game ever. It was unreal how dominant Alabama looked in the first half, how I think they were screwed out of points at the end of the first half on, I have no idea how that pass interference was not called.
Yeah.
And how Georgia, to their credit, but just shows the job Kirby Smart does and the talent that they have, was able to just kind of grind their way back into that game for the culmination that took place in the final few minutes. Leading to an absolute classic. The fact that there is a 17-year-old in Ryan Williams for Alabama able to do what he is doing. I mean, what is the ceiling on this guy? I know he's a wide receiver, so health.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's a big bruising.
No.
Wide receiver.
A lot like his counterpart from Alabama, Devonta Smith, who won the Heisman.
That's correct, yeah. That's correct. I'm sure he'll develop more, which is something else. But considering he's the guy with the glamorous game-winning touchdown, and we're saying he's going to develop more, but he's going to develop more. He's 17, and I'm sure he's going to put on weight and muscle. Because I think he weighs, Herbstreit was saying he weighs $175. Yeah. And he's out there bouncing off of 2 Georgia defenders, and Kirby Smart's like, there's nothing we can do. I know Ryan Williams. We tried to sign him ourselves. Yeah. That was press coverage. We did the right thing. He just made a play. Just comes down to making a tackle, and he made a great play, spinning off of him like he's playing on EA Sports.
That spin move was, I've never seen a spin where you can somehow bounce, get 2 guys to hit each other, but never lose an inch of speed. That was crazy. But I always find that to be such a fun thing about the Georgia-Alabama game, is like when you look across the sidelines, in this case now Kalen DeBoer, but formerly Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, have recruited guys on both sides of the ball, almost entirely.
And probably had to choose one or the other. I mean,
Right.
they have to because they could have gone anywhere, but they had the choice of one because they're all getting recruited. Probably 100
Right.
guys who are on that field were recruited by both and made the choice to go to one or the other. The thing to keep an eye on here with Georgia is they still have to play at Austin, Texas. They host Tennessee, and they still have to go to now an Oxford, Mississippi Ole Miss team that will not have the luxury of losing after losing to Kentucky at home on Saturday morning. And they're going to be put to the test.
Yep.
I mean, they have to, I think, win 2 of those games. I don't know if a 9-3 Georgia team gets in.
No, especially if they they won't have a signature win. You got to beat one of those teams to have that signature win. You can get beat by Alabama at Alabama. I don't think anyone's going to hold that against you. But you got to go out now and you got to roll.
Yeah,
you have to run.
If you beat number 1 Texas in Austin, but then you lose in Oxford and lose at home to Tennessee,
then you got a conversation on your hands.
It's quite a spot. So this was the thing. We talked about win totals at the beginning of the year. I was on the Missouri over win total last year, 6.5. I loved the under win total of 9.5 for Missouri this year. But I really loved the under on Georgia at 10.5. Reason being, not because I was down on Georgia. I just looked at their schedule and I go, holy crap. How in the world are they going to get through that? And by the way, Clemson, which looked like garbage and had been trending down, and Dabo Swinney's run in Clemson, he's got that team scoring points now. I don't know what's going on there.
They look good.
So the Georgia win over Clemson might wind up being a top 10 win, even though it kind of looked like nothing at the beginning of the year. But they still have Ole Miss, Texas, and Tennessee to go, and they're a one-loss team. And that's to say that they take care of business all the other ways as well. So what a situation that could be developing in Athens. And I'm not saying they're not a good team. I'm just saying record-wise, it could provide a real dichotomy for a team like Missouri that has a weaker schedule and could be 11-1, 10-2, or a Notre Dame team that has a weaker schedule and could be 11-1 or 10-2 versus a Georgia team that I would imagine might be like a 6 or 7 point favorite over Georgia, over Notre Dame or Missouri, but maybe on the outside looking in if they have 3 losses. Even if one of those wins is against 2 of those wins, it would be Clemson and then one of Tennessee, Ole Miss, Texas. It's quite a spot after losing what was an absolute classic on Saturday night. As much as I love college football, what took place Friday in Miami has me on tilt. And I got to talk about that. That's my perspective on what took place between Miami and Virginia Tech, and something that's in the back of my mind when I see this kind of crap. That's coming up next. This is Balloon Party, 101 ESPN.
Coverage of 101 ESPN is presented by Under Law Injury Lawyers. GetJim.com.
Thinking of buying a new home? Think TR Hughes. TR Hughes Homes has great prices on beautiful new homes at 4 desirable locations. Charlestown Landing in North St. Charles, convenient to Highway 370. The Grove at Riverdale and St. Paul with standard 4-car garages, just 10 minutes from the St. Peter's Dearborns. Arbor Valley and Wentzville on Highway N with minimum half-acre wooded lots. And our newest community, Elkhorn Ridge in Truesdale, just west of Wright City, minutes from Highway 70. Come and see why TR Hughes is St. Charles and now Warren County's premier home builder. trhughes.com.
Scott Lee Heating's premier dealer distinction means you'll be working with the best the industry offers. Learn more about their special savings opportunities on Lennox products by calling 314-756-9444 or visit them online at scottleeheating.com.
I'm Dr. TJ from the Institute of Natural Health. I'm inviting you to check out our show, Wellness 101, every Sunday at 7 a.m. right here on ESPN. On Wellness 101, we talk about how to optimize your health as well as all things health-related. We discuss how to take control of your health by being your own health advocate, and we offer practical tips for you to become the healthiest you possible. On Wellness 101, we cover topics like optimizing hormones, thyroid health, gut function, cardiovascular health, sexual health and performance, and many more. So join Aaron and me every Sunday for Wellness 101 at 7 a.m. on ESPN.
Sponsored by Central Bank.
ESPN Sports Center.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals have finished their regular season campaign. They will have a press conference today at 2 p.m. to discuss the future. You can catch that right here on 101 ESPN. Again, that's at 2 p.m. And then some sad news. NBA legend and Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo has died of brain cancer at the age of 58. That was our Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Welcome back to Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Cardinal press conference at 2 o'clock today. First 20 minutes of Balloon Party dedicated to the Cardinals. Second half here of Balloon Party on college football. If you missed anything, go back and podcast via the Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers podcast of Balloon Party on the 101 ESPN app or at 101ESPN.com. You're welcome to participate via the text inbox 314-399-9646 or the YouTube chat and have a conversation in there with wonderful people such as MD 2020 and Deep Voice Dude. Jackson, we both were watching live on Friday night as Virginia Tech heaved a Hail Mary into the end zone in Miami. You thought it was caught live or you thought it wasn't caught live?
It's just so much confusion going on in real time. You're kind of just with the broadcast. You're kind of just like, what? I thought right when they said, and Miami wins, I was like, all right, I guess that it was either incomplete or they picked it off. I didn't really think, I couldn't tell one way or another after. I just saw massive humanity, half of which were out of bounds, fall to the ground, and I don't know how you're going to make a call in that case, but they called a touchdown.
I thought Virginia Tech caught it, but then I heard the reaction of the broadcast. Miami then turned off the lights.
Which Bama also does too. I don't really love that.
And so I'm like, oh, I guess they didn't. And then like 2 seconds later, the play-by-play guy on ESPN goes, the referees are calling it a touchdown. And then for the next 7.5 minutes, the ACC's probably brightest hope for a college football playoff spot. Miami, as far as an at-large.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who else would be in the mix for an at-large in the ACC.
I don't know.
As Clemson?
Clemson, maybe, depending on what they do.
They look at this replay over and over again. On the broadcast, they're saying, I would imagine many of you who watched it or have seen it since would say there was not anything in the replay that would overturn it. And they looked at it for 7.5 minutes. And then, after 450 seconds of staring into the monitor, they saw something that indicated they could overturn the play. And here, this is me, solely me, 100% me. I don't think there's anything I enjoy more. Like the baseball playoffs coming up this week. I don't even know if I could tell you who's the matchups are. For me to be watching at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, it just isn't where I am.
Right.
College football, I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm watching Miami, Virginia Tech. I'm watching Rutgers and Washington. I'm watching Kentucky and Ole Miss. I'm watching Alabama and Georgia, as I'm sure will have record-setting ratings. So many people around the country are doing the exact same thing. But I have to be honest with the audience, even though I know it'll be an unpopular thing. I can't help but think, after I see 7.5 minutes of no evidence that would overturn that call, that I go, I wonder if the ACC is saying to whether it be the people in the replay booth or the official, let's make sure that our team that actually has a chance, it's inconclusive. They got to go.
Yeah.
Touchdown. Because last year at Athens, Georgia, I watched a play get called against Missouri, and I thought, what in that Drayden Norwood pass interference that turned the whole game around? It was an understated play, and the game changed from that point forward. And then people go, well, you're a Missouri fan. You're saying that. No problem. Let me tend to that. 9 days ago, I'm in Columbia, Missouri, live. Then I come home, and I rewatched the game on Sunday morning because I was thinking, these are some weird calls that are going against Vanderbilt to Missouri's benefit. Vanderbilt, not a team with a chance in the college football playoff. And then I go back and watch the game, and Matt Stinchcomb, who's the color analyst, is going, boy, I don't see where the call was there. There were 3 or 4 of those over the case of the Missouri-Vanderbilt game. So now with this college football playoff and the dollars that are on the line and the important for the conferences because they don't want to get swallowed up, I hate that something like Friday night happened, because all it does is add to my conspiracy theorist mindset that this crap is not on the up and up. I thought it last November in Athens. I thought it last Saturday in Columbia. And I thought it again on Friday night against Miami and Virginia Tech. Here is Virginia Tech's head coach following the game.
I hope they got that call right. To take that, to overturn it and take it from our kids, our coaches, our fans, I hope they got it right. I ran over and said, how did you rule it? He said, touchdown. Normally when you look at something that long, it doesn't get overturned. I didn't think there was enough evidence to overturn it. So like I said, I hope they got it right.
Yeah, hope they got it right.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that play alone, you call it on the field a touchdown. That's the call on the field. I watched the replay a bunch. We all did. It was going on, like you said, for 7.5 minutes. I don't know what angle they saw that I didn't see where you could, with that, would definitively say, nope, Miami. They didn't say incomplete or picked it off. They just said overturned. Miami wins, essentially. I don't know where. Now, in fairness, you also didn't see something to definitively say Virginia Tech caught it for a touchdown, but that's what you called on the field.
Right.
And procedure
so if it would have been called incomplete on the field and they all of a sudden called it a touchdown, I would have gone,
yeah,
what in the hell did they see that call it a touchdown?
Right.
And again, you're looking at it for 7.5 minutes. So 400 seconds in, they saw something. Yeah. And then the official comes out and then just announced the play has been overturned. No explanation. The ACC issued a statement saying the Miami player was out of bounds. Once he touched the ball, the play was dead. Okay. Very interesting logic on that one, because the Virginia Tech player actually had his hands on it coming down to the ground. That wasn't the part of the dispute. So when I see that stuff, and you know how much money's on the line for these conferences, and ACC officials are handling it, just like SEC officials were handling it last week in Columbia and last year in Athens, I was watching Ole Miss, Kentucky. Kentucky, not a team that's in the mix of the playoff. Ole Miss, a team in the mix. And I'm sitting there going, okay, are they going to bang Kentucky at some point? And as it turned out, they didn't get a chance to because Ole Miss pulled the Vanderbilt field goal kicker and shanked it left, and Kentucky got the win. I hate that because I love what's going on with college football right now as far as the on the field and the playoffs, the NIL, it's anarchy. But this leaves, you don't have an NFL situation, for example, not that NFL is the bastion of integrity, but where you don't, like, there's the NFC East officials are handling a game.
Right.
And the NFC East has financial investment in the NFC East having 3 teams in the playoffs. That's the part that it makes me scratch my head. And I already was thinking that because I know I said it here on 101 last year. I waited a few weeks because I knew it would sound like sour grape Missouri fan. But then I saw it go against Vanderbilt to Missouri's benefit last weekend. And so now that I see it go against Virginia Tech to Miami's benefit, I feel like I'm noticing a pattern here. I hope I don't see it again because I hate going into a game looking for that kind of crap. Your thoughts, 314-399-9646. Air Comfort Service text line. The YouTube chat welcomes you to participate. Dan Jansen, Deep Voice Dude, and Tiny Peepee are all in there talking it over. You're listening to Balloon Party, 101 ESPN.
Tomorrow night, the Blues are back on ESPN with preseason play.
Shoots, he scores!
Blues and Blue Jackets. Pregame at 6, puck drop at 7.
The wait is over!
Your exclusive home for Blues hockey is 101 ESPN.
You've been waiting, and now is the time. Golden Oak Lending has fixed mortgage rates at 4.875%. But don't wait. This rate won't last forever. Call today and take advantage of our low 4.875 fixed rate. Call 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.784 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Paramount Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Paramount Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Paramount Men's Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4442. 314-887-4442. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 314-887-4442.
Welcome back to Bloom Party 101 ESPN. Jackson, we're 3 hours and 10 minutes away from the press conference to end all press conferences at Busch Stadium. You're going to be able to hear it right here on 101 ESPN. Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be. I'm excited to see. That's what I'm excited to see.
Your favorite page on the internet is?
Oh, so many to go with here. I'll go with www.reddit.com.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh, wow is right.
I'm a Tiger Board guy.
That's right. Yep.
And very active there. But my second favorite page is the TMA fan page on Facebook. And you get to moderate that. And
I get the honor.
That's correct.
It bestowed upon me.
So you can join that, and that way you get to interact with Jackson. But during the commercial break, I was scrolling the TMA fan page on Facebook, and it's a fan page of people who don't necessarily really enjoy the program.
Yep.
But there was something that I saw that it made me giggle like I was a little schoolgirl.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Cardinal press conference bingo.
Oh, nice. Oh,
so
nice.
if you want to gather around with some friends and have them over on a Monday afternoon to watch the Cardinal press conference, just gather around the hearth and listen to 101 ESPN. You too can play Cardinal press conference bingo. Here's what we got. DeWitt takes accountability.
That's a little subjective.
Well, that's in a tough spot on the real estate of the bingo. 2 spots down on the left. Reference to legacy.
Yeah, that's you can mark that one down already.
Yeah, that's almost like a free space.
Yeah.
The term committed to turning it around.
Maybe not verbatim, but certainly something in that realm.
Chaim Bloom's analysis of the minors. You don't believe that'll happen because you don't think he's going to be there.
I don't think he's going to be present. And I think if he's not, they'll spin it as well. He's out in whatever A-level ball watching some guy play fall league.
If you want to hear / watch me explode at 10 a.m. tomorrow, this one, quote, we competed in 2024.
I mean, like, by definition, you played the games, but they weren't competitive.
If they cite that record and or an improvement year over year.
Yeah. If they cite an improvement from last year.
My previous hypersensitive nerve was when college coaches or fans of a program, I'm obviously thinking of Missouri, win 6 games when you're handed 4 each year and then talk about it being successful because you went to a bowl. If this operation talks about improvement and how it was a successful winning season, I'll be raging tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
If that's the case.
So if you want to pull for that, listen for we competed in 2024.
If that's the case, then they should have a clubhouse champagne popping, I think we won the softball games for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like a Matt Kuchar top 10 after he was 13 strokes behind and then plays well when it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Not tanking. Cardinals press conference bingo. Will they use the term we're not tanking?
I don't think they'd use a word like tanking.
I agree with you on that. They will cite the Bally's contract. Heretofore known as Bailey's.
They'll tiptoe around it. I don't know if they'll directly say.
I hope they talk about it.
I would too.
I don't know why they don't talk about it.
Well, I don't know why they do a lot of what they do.
That's nice, Jackson.
Thanks.
That's exactly right. Mo has our full support.
Yeah.
This is, again, the Cardinal press conference bingo on the TMA fan page on Facebook.
Yeah, that's coming.
The term arbitrage.
I don't know verbatim.
I think there's awareness of the backlash to arbitrage and cardigan sweaters tied around necks.
There's going to be language like that. Like already in Derek Gould's article, they talk about directional shift. Like, oh, goodness. We don't have to fancy it all up there, Mr. Mo.
Ollie did a great job.
Yeah.
You think we'll hear that?
Yeah. In some form or fashion, yeah.
We're not far from winning.
That is the biggest thing. I am very curious if they talk timeline at this press conference.
It's been talked about in Katie Wu and Derek Gould's articles, which I thought was really interesting.
From some of those anonymous sources.
And honestly refreshing.
Yeah.
Michael Gersh says nothing.
That's block that. I don't think he'll be there either.
I'm keeping an eye on him if you're looking for odds of the people who shouldn't necessarily be losing their jobs but will today.
Yeah.
You know, that's the some kind of Mazalak word salad.
Yeah.
That's certainly subjective.
Oh, yeah, that's coming.
Arrogant tone.
Also subjective, but yeah.
We have tough decisions ahead.
Yep. Nope. I don't know if that will be said.
Rethink our model.
Yeah, philosophical change will be something in that realm.
And then a discussion on the decreased attendance.
That should come up. But just much like the TV deal, I don't know if it will.
It's Cardinal press conference bingo. Tip of the cap to the person who posted that on the TMA fan page. You can join it, and then you get a chance to interact with Jackson because you post like about 50 times a day on there.
It's not that. It's mostly commenting passive-aggressively on other people's. Did you also forget that this thing
like that?
You include something in your list that I like or I don't like it, and you include in your list. Let me tell you how you're terrible.
That's how you spend your day as a 26-year-old single man. I mean, I know you're a man in love.
Yeah.
But you don't have that wedding ring on your finger.
And then when people come back at me and call me out, I say, whoa, I was just kidding around. Like, you guys are so sensitive.
That's what you do all day.
Yeah. Yep. Usually around 8 p.m. And then also tell you how great my life is.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, you can interact with Jackson that way on the TMA fan page on Facebook and also play Cardinal Press Conference Bingo. You'll hear it live here in 3 hours on 101 ESPN. BK and Ferrari are up next for Jackson Bennett Burkett. I'm Tim McKernan. This has been Balloon Party, driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura. Munganess Burkhardt, I'll tell you it on 101 ESPN. James Carlton, Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency is my insurance agent. I'd like him to become your insurance agent as well. Why is that? Number one, 378 5-star reviews on Google. Number two, I've been working with him for 5+ years. I think the world of the customer service his office provides and the person that James is and the way that they go out of their way to save you money. Number three, they communicate via text. Thank you. I don't like phone calls. I just don't. James knows that. The whole staff knows that. So they're texting. And you can text them or just go online at carltoninsurance.net or 314-961-4800. It's James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, my insurance agent, and an insurance agent who continues to grow his business because the word is out in the St. Louis area, and that includes Illinois and throughout Missouri, that nobody does it better than James Carlton. And people are going, wow, there really is a difference. Now that I've made the switch, I can't believe I wasn't with them before. Make the switch and experience what I have for the last 5 years. Incredible customer service with an agency looking out for you to save you money. It's James Carlton, online at carltoninsurance.net.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical.